All right. We have a powerful leg workout, and the full workout is coming soon. Some crazy weight being squatted today. So stay tuned with me and let's go. Here's a nice little highlight. This was me squatting 280 kilos today. You can see how much the bar is bending. I was struggling. I didn't get to the depth I wanted today. However, let me take you exactly how it went down. So here's a nice little pose, little flex off. Now developing the quads is one thing, but to develop your whole entire leg, your quads, your glutes, hamstrings, calves, compound movements are effective for this. And this way we're going to be going through a lot of compound movements, and I'm going to show you some of the most powerful exercises you can do to grow your legs. And you guys are going to love this one. So stay tuned, enjoy, and let's get this pumping. Alright, so starting off with the squat and how to squat. When it comes to squatting, making sure we are warming up properly. It is always number one. You guys know my principle. If you have a good warm-up, you're gonna most likely have a better session. So it doesn't matter if it takes me half an hour to warm up. I'm going through the whole warm-up process with you guys. And if you feel like the whole warm-up process is gonna take a while, feel free to skip to a little bit further. However, I got you guys, so no stress at all. When it comes to squats, I do some stretching in between. Now I'm going to actually probably film some of my stretching I do because I seem to kind of cut that out a bit while I am working on. I think it's important for you guys to see what kind of stretching I do to get into my squats or my heavy squats. So I'm definitely going to try and do some filming of that as well. And also, one of the good things about squatting and recording is I get to analyze my form. So I've got 60 kilos in the bar right now, and then I go up plate by plate, okay, until it starts to get heavy. Now I've got 100 kilos in the bar. This was still a little bit rusty. My knee sleeves weren't pulled up to the top, but I'm trying to adapt to my form and technique even from a low weight. So 100 kilos doesn't feel too heavy on the bar for me. And the little secret here, guys, if you are going to be lifting heavy for the day, is to start off with some nice controlled reps, but also very low reps. You got to save that energy for the big weights, okay? So afterwards, we've got a lot of high rep stuff, which we'll go through. But for now, our goal today is to be hitting 280 kilos, okay, for sets of 1. So it's going to be a tough one. And at the end of the day, what can you do? Save your energy. 180 kilos. This one went down nice and smooth. I tried to do some pause reps in there just to kind of open up my hips a bit at the bottom. Tried to go for some slower, some faster movements. Got the movements working. Okay, this was a nice one as well. To my first 220, it was rough. It was pretty rough. I was like, I didn't think it should have been as heavy as this, but then again, it's getting heavy. So afterwards, I went to 240. This was pretty smooth. I was now ready. I was awake for it. So I started to have my elbow sleeves on. And you guys can see my progression. So I start off with my knee sleeves, and then I'll go into elbow sleeves after. And then when it gets even heavier, then I start to add my straps, my wrist straps at the same time, because I gotta keep my wrists nice and intact. Now I'm gonna tell you guys a nice little secret here when you're lifting. I didn't go too heavy with this, too deep with that one. I was quite disappointed in that lift. So after this one, 270 kilos, I'm like, I need to go deep enough. So this one was pretty deep. I was happy with this movement. Probably just broke my parallel, which I was happy with that. And then 280, my first set. This was the doomsday. Okay, now I lifted and people were like around me said, you went like deep enough. I didn't think I went deep enough for this one, but hey, I felt like, yep. So that was a very, very, very shallow squat. So after rewatching it again, now I know I definitely didn't go deep enough. Second one wasn't too bad. That's why I went for second. It was supposed to be just 1 rep, and even it wasn't too bad, but it still was above parallel. Again, all I wanted was a nice clean rep at 280 kilos. So that was my goal today. So this was probably my best one yet today, and where I thought I went deep enough in there. But feel free to critique it. Again, I always want to go deeper. But that's all what today was about. Getting just one decent rep at 280 kilos. So then went for my third, and I don't think I did go deep enough with this one. It's my last set on this one, and I was like, I'm done. Now, we started off with some lunges. Now, this lunges was 10 reps each leg. Now, lunges, I've always talked about dumbbell walking lunges specifically as my favorite. When I say my favorite, it doesn't necessarily mean I like it all the time. But what I mean is when it comes to muscle building, I rate it number one for any workout that you do. Like, I recommend dumbbell walking lunges. Okay, why? Because it's a semi-functional movement too, but it's not a static movement. You get so much out of it, so you hit every part of the leg while you are doing lunges. And like I said, if I only had one exercise to do for legs, it would be lunges. I'll just grab some heavy lunges, 5 reps each leg, 10 sets, and you're done. 100%, and obviously some calf work after. It will hit every single muscle in your leg. Every single muscle. Now, this was a little bit high rep on the lunges. Had very, very minimal rest with this one too. This was just about pumping more blood in there, working the sarcoplasmic stimulation aspects of hypertrophy, which was awesome. And, you know, getting the blood in there, getting some closer, getting some wider stance lunges in there. It's a mix. So this was 10 reps each leg. So for me, that's a lot higher rep. A lot of people actually do more reps with lunges. That's very foreign to me. I usually do very low rep and heavier weights. I find that more effective. However, I've been doing heavy weights all day, so for this, it's actually better for me to actually go with higher reps, feel those muscles work, keep that tension on for a longer period of time with this exercise, rather than going with another low tension heavy weight exercise. You know, all my squats, if you guys actually watch my squats carefully, every single squat of mine was in still a control. Even when it was heavy, it was very controlled. I kept the tension on the muscles. I used the muscles. Now, this is why squats is actually another powerful, very, very powerful movement for growing your muscle. Okay. And it's not because of the fact that it's a compound movement, but it's the fact that it's a big compound movement. But most of the time, especially when you are going for a heavy squat, it's usually quite efficient if you control the weight, even when you're going for a power squat. So like, even some of my reps could take about 15 seconds to 20 seconds time and attention, probably even more, okay? Even with those less reps. That's how I was going for even like three reps, okay? And it could still take me like 30 seconds to 40 seconds to do a set, which ideally with a lighter weight, it could take me that same amount of time. But I'll probably hit more reps out, but I am pushing that tension in the muscle. So that's why squats is such a powerful movement, and I believe in it. Whereas if I go to something like deadlifts, which is still great, however, I am putting tension on muscle. If I go for a low rep, it's very, very quick, very explosive tensions off. Do you know what I mean? With squats, the slower, the better sometimes. So that's where, if you are using squats with low reps to grow, that's where you guys can be victorious. Now over here, I just did 40 reps in a row together. In fact, I did 42 because I walked back right to the equipment, and I actually roasted my legs for that one. Now, leg extensions for the quads, the massive quad banner, and I could really feel this. 12 reps, nice and easy. Increase the weight after every single set. Kept my rest break quite minimal, so nothing too crazy, and then went back in again. So that was awesome. That was pretty good. Could really feel those muscles work. Could really push it, and yeah, this was just a nice little isolation movement, which was awesome. This is what we want. So this is awesome. And even while I'm power building, I can't stress on the fact that it is still important to keep your isolated movements in. It just allows you to target on those smaller muscle groups like our quads. You know, I can get some hamstring work and still, like, don't cut them out. And for me, like, it's power building, so I'm still working on bodybuilding movements, getting those muscle fibers working and keeping that tension on the muscle. It's very important, guys. Very important. And this is how you build your legs, and this is a solid way to build your legs. Now, some RDLs. This is actually pretty cool as well too. I changed up my RDL stance in one point as well, which I'm going to show you guys. What I tried to do here as well too was just trying to really sit back into the RDL and get those hamstrings popping. And for me, when I train, sometimes it's all about getting my body into a position where I feel that I can actually feel the muscles work and tension. Okay. Now, when it comes to biomechanics, everyone is so different. Knowing how to execute the movement is one thing, okay? Knowing what muscles to move, what joints to move, and what time to move those joints is important for executing the movement. However, everyone is so different, okay? So, there might be a little bit of error or a margin of error into the positioning of the way we actually, execute a movement, which means sometimes you have to go with the feel. I know, obviously, knowing the conventional way of doing an exercise is important. However, a few changes here and there can actually benefit you differently. You might have longer levers elsewhere. You might be double jointed. You might be this. You might be that. So, if you guys look at my last set over here, I tried to film in a way that you guys can see, but I think I failed. I went a bit wider with my stance, so this allowed me to actually activate my upper back a little bit to act as a synergist to hold the weight, and I could keep my focus entirely on my legs as it was coming down, and as I was thrusting forward to get my glutes and hip extension ready. So it just made it very easy for me to hip extend, and also put me in a good position to actually feel my hamstrings work. Okay, and yeah, of course, finishing off with a nice little flex off as well. It was a nice, successful session. Really felt it. Those legs were pumped. And yeah, this was fueled by BSN NO Explorer, the OG pre-workout. So had some nitric oxide in there, and you can see, like, I haven't had a pump like this for a while, so this was awesome. I really enjoyed this.